about Wiggle It Jiggle It for a second. We'll get back to Lather Up here in a moment. But one of the greatest races in harness racing, a lot of people say, was right here over this racetrack when you and Lost for Words battled for over half a mile. Talk to us a little bit about that race. And at the top of the stretch, he looked done. Lost for Words had put up about a length or so on you, and he come firing back like he had another gear in him. Tell us about that mile and kind of what you were thinking. And was there any moment during the race where you maybe panicked and said, oh, man, we might be beat?
I think I was panicking before I even started racing. I was a bundle of nerves. First race, I think I had a 6-hole. Tried to leave as fast as I could. That wasn't working, so my man to the left gave me a hole. I got lucky. I didn't get parked the whole mile, but it wasn't soon later that I popped right back out, and he went a tremendous mile on the outside that time. And then I came back in. I was bundling nerves because I told Dad, I said, I think I went a little bit too hard on the first trip. I don't know how he's going to be on the second one. He said, you still don't know what kind of horse you got. So, and he was right.
Okay, Matt, Matt rally cap Kakaley down there at the end. Let's talk a little bit about Dosadoro Hanover coming into the race. I was talking to Ronnie in the last session about the Meadowlands Pace race, where I felt like that was his turn the corner type of race. We were all kind of wondering on our show what you were going to do, and we said there's only one thing we think he can do, and that's step on the gas and go, and that's exactly what you did. Tell us about that effort and kind of how that built him up towards the rest of the stakes season.
Yeah, I was so mad when he drew the 10-hole, because he'd been racing great up to that point. In the Elim, I ducked him, and he was second over. He come 25-3, finished up great, and then he drew 10. I was pretty discouraged, but I had one option, and I had to get him in the race somehow. If I drug him off to 10th, we weren't getting any money. So I took a shot. David had a spot there. He wanted to be second over, and when I moved him, he just wanted to march. He was sharp that day. I mean, like when I was getting the Yannick in the last turn, he still had a huge hold. He was halfway by him off the turn, and I thought I had a huge shot of winning. David's horse was struggling in the last turn. I tried to get a little bit of separation on him, but the 10-hole and first up kind of caught up to my colt, down by the wire. But he raced phenomenal that day. That was kind of like his coming out race. People started to notice him. I've been a fan of him since day one when I qualified him at Gateway as a 2-year-old. I've always liked him. He didn't have a very good year as a 2-year-old, but he had his excuses. He did win in 51 at the Meadows that year, but at the end of the year, as a 2-year-old, he was fourth in that Final Four race for Pacers. Anyway, he was fourth. He paced 50 and changed, 26 flat. And then Ronnie told me when he came off the track, he goes, "This is the best horse of the year that's only made 90,000." So we were looking forward to this year, and he's come back great, and he's tough as nails, that's for sure.
Now, Aaron, you've gotten to drive for Alan Michelle Crawford in some of the big stakes races here in Ohio, and you've had a lot of success with those guys. Talk to us a little bit about being one of the local guys, getting a big chance in some of the big stakes races.
Oh, it's nice when, your number gets called, to drive horses. And I had 4 horses in that big race at Tauta last week, and I committed to one by one. And then I ended up driving the horse, but the last people that asked me, just because they've given me a lot of other opportunity, Crawford and Chris Oakes. So that's the way I went. But I mean, it's flattering, to have the opportunity and know that they're confident in you, to drive their horses for that kind of money, no matter what the track it is. So they've given me really live horses to drive, and they made my job really, really easy.
Now, Montrell, let's go back to Lather Up's Ohio Sire Stakes victory, where he just absolutely dominated the entire race and showed just how gritty of a horse he was. Talk to us a little bit about that effort and kind of what your thoughts were leading up into the race.
It was all about if I can get out of the gate fast enough just to cross over. Or I knew going for 275,000, everybody's going to be gunning for it and being very aggressive. But I got lucky that he was on his game that time. It's pretty sloppy, so I didn't know how he was going to grab the track. But right when I crossed over, I just got down there in 26, backed it off, and then once I hit the half, I just set a sail.
Now, this question is for all three of you, and with the exception of Aaron, most of you guys are young guys. No, I'm just kidding, Aaron. All you guys are young guys, and Matt, we'll start with you. Is there ever, obviously there's going to be nerves when you enter a big race, it doesn't matter if you're driving for 500,000 or a million, what have you. But is there any more pressure because you're younger than, say, the John Campbells or the David Millers or anything like that?
I don't feel that way. There's just the same amount of pressure on me as there is, David Miller or, Yannick or Timmy or whatever. There's pressure on us, but I don't feel it as a terms of me being younger than them or anything like that. I don't feel that way.
Montrell?
A little bit. You're going against some of the Hall of Famers out there, and you just look over but I don't really get intimidated. It's just, you're just happy to be out there with them, and winning a race against them makes you look that much better. So, yeah, I do still get nervous.
Aaron?
No nerves at all anymore. I used to, and then when I got in a real bad accident in 2010, about a year after that, I lost all the nerves that involved. It's just something that I love, and I do one thing. The same for every driver. It's not Hall of Fame or anything like that. You can only do the best you can. You got to make this, split-second decisions. It's not always easy, and you're going to make wrong ones, and everybody's going to make wrong ones. And you just got to take it. If you make a mistake, just say you made a mistake. But most of the time, you got to go with your gut on the track, and there's no reason to be nervous. Every race is just a race.
See, no reason to be nervous. He's showing his age now. So, are there any questions out here so far? Any questions from the audience thus far? All right.
Montrell, in your driving Wiggle It, Jiggle It, what do you think you learned the most from him?
Just how dominant he really was. To be the main race that I remember was this one. Everybody remembers that one. Everybody still comes up to me and says that's the best truck they've ever seen. But to be on the outside for that long, 2 miles in world record fashion, I think. He's just an amazing animal. As a driver, he taught me, he just put me in a different situation. I never got the opportunity to drive in all the big races until I got him. So I stepped up my game just because of him.
Okay. Any others? Questions? Mr. Teague? All right. Aaron, obviously we talked a little bit about, you driving between the different racetracks and all the miles you put on your car. What kind of wear, do you ever get tired? Obviously, you work a lot, so anybody who works is going to be tired. But do you ever get, tired of driving so much? Do you ever think, maybe you'd settle down to one, or is it just kind of a fun thing to do still?
Yes, this is my third coffee today. Yeah, I'm. Wendy calls me. I'm like, I'm here, pulling in. But I would have been a little bit earlier. But legit, it's my third coffee. Yeah, very, very tired. It's. I don't know if it's more mentally or physically draining on me. And the driving is starting to wear on me. Not the horses. I feel more passionate about the horses and the driving, and that's one reason why I do it every day. And like I said, when you're on 15 horses in a race car, like I said, the people count on you. They want you to drive their horses, and they want you there, And I'm upset as anybody else if I miss my first drive or something like that, which I have, in the past. But you don't see me. I don't call off. I don't leave early. I don't, I just do what I'm supposed to do. It's a passion of mine, like I said, and I love competing. That's another thing, you get to compete with your friends, and you just want to win. It's a sickness.
Now, Matt, obviously you drive on the mile tracks, 7/8 tracks, half mile, 5/8. Seems like you've been a little bit of everywhere as of late. Is there a different kind of style when you drive on the different size tracks, or is it kind of one of those things where you just got to remember where the quarter poles are and kind of decide, okay, I'm going to make my move at this point instead of here?
I think you have to be aggressive no matter what. Like Aaron said, he's always aggressive. I think you have to be that way no matter what. The way the horses race now, they don't need big breathers anymore like they did, 15, 20 years ago. They don't need them that bad. Obviously, some tracks are more speed favoring the others, but I think you have to be aggressive no matter what. You don't see horses win from 9th or 10th anymore. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter what track. Meadowlands, Pocono, Meadows, Northfield, it doesn't happen. So you got to put them in play no matter what. You got to be aggressive. As for each track, I think each track, if you're going in there and, if it's a stake race and it's the same guys, and you kind of know how all the guys are. But if you're going to Hoosier and you're driving against all those guys that you don't usually drive with, they're going to be a little bit different than the guys I drive with Pocono every night, or the guys that are at Yonkers every night, or vice versa. So you got to know who's out there and who you're driving with too, because their style, their style dictates the race too.
Okay, we're going to give away another T-shirt. It's going to be a Grand Circuit T-shirt. Cliff Kettle. Give away another Grand Circuit T-shirt here as we talk to drivers Aaron Merriman, Montrell Teague, and Matt Kakaley. All right, now we're going to put everybody on the spot here for just a second. Don't worry, it's nothing bad, Matt. I see that look on your face. It's kind of scaring me a little bit. But Montrell, we'll start with you. Obviously, you've driven a lot of horses throughout the years, like I said earlier, for many trainers, for your dad. Is there anyone besides Wiggle It Jiggle It that you've been able to learn the most from, or that you've had to have like patience and you had to really kind of take your time with?
Not that I can think of offhand.
Okay.
Every horse is just different. Every trainer is different. Some are more aggressive. Some are just easy, and if you give me a check, I'm happy. So, you just talk to the trainer before the race. I always make the effort to go over and grab the lines. What do you want me to do? How's this horse been? Stuff like that. So, you just go race by race, horse by horse, pretty much.
Now, I guess I kind of rephrase my question a little bit too. We talked with Ronnie Burke a little bit ago, and he said, the crazy ones sometimes make him crazier. Smart ones are obviously the smart ones. Do you have to kind of know the horse a little bit when you take the lines? If they're crazy, you want to try to do certain things, or just kind of the same thing all the time?
You can kind of tell by their equipment. If you got earplugs in, you might want to take your handholds up a little bit. If they don't, set them back so you can put them right up on the gate get them a little bit more aggressive. But I definitely got to ask the trainer just because even if you don't look at their past races or anything like that, it always helps.
Okay, Aaron?
I'm like him. I mean, I think just, each horse is different. There's none of them are the same. There's a lot of same tendencies, but like Montrell said, you kind of learn something on each horse, something new. I ask a little bit. If they got a horrible habit, like that's one thing to know, but that's why they put us down. They want us to kind of make the decisions and use our best judgment on the horses. But driving a lot of horse experience, just as for a young driver, like experience. You got to train as many as you can, drive as many as you can. They're all not going to be Cadillacs, and that's the ones we want to drive, of course. But the bad horses and the tough horses are the what made me a driver. It's not the good horses. And I really, really take pride in driving overnight horses every single day. I just I embrace everyone, and that each one of them teach you something.
Now, Matt, you've gotten a chance to drive Foiled Again some during his Fan Zone Foiled Again tour, and we talked with Ronnie Burke a little bit ago about the tour he's been. It seems like everywhere with him, from the Dark County Fair and all the way to Maine and back. And tell us what that's been like for you to be able to sit down behind Foiled Again and drive the horse. And as we get ready to head to the Meadows on December 31st, kind of what you're feeling.
He's a once in a lifetime horse, that's for sure. He's the toughest horse I've ever seen. He gave me my first big win, the Battle of Lake Erie, back in 2009. So he's special to me in that way, and I won that race 3 times with that horse. He's amazing. I've driven him a lot of times, and he's always giving you 100% no matter what. Even if he's not feeling right that day, he's giving you what he's got. It's incredible what a horse he is, and he's 14 years old and he's doing this, and people love him, and he's not like a friendly horse where he loves the attention, but I think now that he's like going around everywhere and doing it, I think he likes it. I think he's starting to enjoy doing this, and he's a great horse, that's for sure.
Now, we won't talk about that 2009 Battle of Lake Erie in front of Aaron, because Aaron still talks to Ronnie about that. He won't let that one go. But, we won't talk about that Battle of Lake Erie effort. Montrell, for young people who maybe want to get in the sport of harness racing, maybe they're on the outside looking in, want to drive, want to train, tell us some advice maybe you have for them.
If you got if you want to do it, you just got to team up with the right trainer. You guys work your way up first. Start with the barn work, and then eventually you start training. Eventually you get your qualifiers, stuff like that. But I got lucky that Dad had a huge stable. But I definitely, he didn't throw me in the trainer cart first day. I had to definitely clean stalls, do the water buckets, everything like that. So if you think you're just going to be a driver right out the box, it ain't going to happen. You got to work your way up, and you'll value that a lot more after you do it.
Aaron?
I agree totally. I mean, there's a lot of drivers that just want to be drivers, and there's some drivers that drive now that really never had to go through the ranks. And I really think that, I mean, you look at David, and Timmy, these guys, they worked with horses. I mean, these guys here, they worked with horses. Matt, I mean, you got to know the breed. You got to know the animal. I think it makes you more comfortable on the race bike. I think it makes you more comfortable on the track. Train everything. I mean, you learn it from the ground up. I think it just sets a stepping stone, just like grade school to middle school, high school to college. It's the same thing. I don't think there's any shortcuts in this business, and going out there and jogging horses and training horses, and then just getting your license or whatever after a few, just because you jogged a couple horses. I just don't think it's not safe for the other drivers, and I just don't think it's the right way to do it.
Matt?
Yeah, you definitely have to be willing to work. You're going to have to put a lot of time in, a lot of work hours, doing a lot of things you don't really want to do. But if you want to be a driver, you want to get to that point, you got to put the groundwork in, and you're going to have to clean a lot of stalls, and you're going to have to ship to the tracks, and you're going to have to groom, and you're going to have to work hard. And, it makes you appreciate it a lot more when you do get the opportunities to drive. So my advice would be just, be willing to work hard, and be appreciative of everything that anybody ever gives you, because it doesn't come for free. But people in this business are great. They're willing to lend a helping hand to anybody that wants it. But you got to work for it. That's for sure.
Okay, we have a question from the fan here.
I'd like your opinion on the three drivers on post parade. You see some very aggressive score downs sometimes. Other guys are a little light on it. Other guys are very aggressive. And I see that it's different between tracks. But I've seen some guys maybe a minute to post. All of a sudden they're taking this big score down. I'm thinking, geez, wouldn't they want to save a little of that for that 25-second quarter or something? But I'd like your opinion on all three of how you interpret your score downs.
I score like every horse the exact same, so I'm like horrible about it. I just jog them the wrong way, like they're jogging. Like if you see me score a horse down the right way, like I'm either wanting to scratch that thing probably because I think it's lame, or something seriously wrong. Like even when the trainer tells me to score a horse down, I said I'm just going to jog them out. Like that means let them go a little bit faster the wrong way. I don't really feel like they need to go the right way. That's just me. That's what the warm-up's for. Sometimes you got a hot one, you want to walk them. Sometimes you got a lazy one, you want to wake them up. So that goes and tail with every horse is different. You might want to score every horse different. But I've got a few trainers that say, man, you drive my horses and they're gassed, because I just jog them the wrong way, and if they can get 4 laps in, they get 4 laps in. And that's just, that's me. Like I said, if you ever see me score one down the right way of the track, you might want to pull your bets back because I don't like it.
Montrell?
I'm pretty much the same way. I got the same perspective. I usually just jog around the track. I don't really go a trip before. I think you might take a little bit too much out of them, and you want to save something for the last quarter. But there are some that you have to turn, and like you said, if they're a little sore, you got to work them out of it and just make sure that they're all right to go behind the gate.
Matty?
Depending on the horse, it depends on how I score them out. If they're lazy, I might try to score them a little harder, get them revved up. But, the hot ones, I keep quiet, and I just go with the flow. If I know the horse and I know how to, what I want to do with them anyway. If it's a horse I've never driven before and the trainer doesn't say anything, I usually just let them go out there and do whatever. When they go to the gate, they know what to do. There's no special trick for me, that's for sure.
Well, in the past, like standing on the sidelines, everybody would say, well, Yannick's on this horse. Well, he's never driven it before. Oh, he's going to pick that thing up by 2 seconds. Or Aaron's jumping up. His first time on him, he's going to pick that horse up. Do you believe that?
You hear it, but I mean, some drivers do, because they are going to maybe use a different tactic than the driver before. That's why sometimes they make driver changes. They weren't happy with the way the horse was driven, So I guess when they put me down, they're probably expecting an aggressive drive, and they're probably not going to have much left in the tank. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but I mean that's what they expect. When they use me to drive. It's same thing with other drivers. Like, okay, we're going to use this guy. He's a little bit more conservative, and he's probably going to race my horse from behind. I mean, if your horse has a month off and he needs an easy trip, they're probably not going to use me. You know what I mean? But I hear people say, "Oh, you should drop this horse," blah blah blah. But I mean, some horses don't like everybody, you know. And some horses do. So you gotta. It's kind of. Horses are just like, you know, your pet. You know, sometimes they like a guy who comes in your house, sometimes they don't. So, I mean, I'm just a different. They expect an aggressive drive when I get on them.
Okay, we got another one from over here.
This is for Matt. Would it be possible that you turn your hat around for just a minute?
If I could what?
Thank you.
For all three of you, what's the favorite horse you ever drove?
Montrell?
That's easy. Definitely Wiggles.
Anyone that wins, I guess, is my favorite. I got Barn Girl's my favorite right now. I kind of switch it up. I'm like Josh Sutton with his sports teams. I switch it up a little bit. Josh just picks the winners. But Barn Girl, I used to like Midnight Jewel, Barn Girl, Tamarind. But I prefer trotters now. I'm a little bit older, so I like trotters a little bit better.
Maddie?
I've driven a lot of good horses. You know, Ronnie's put me on a lot of great horses over the years. Foiled again, won the West, Sweet Lou. But I'm the driver on All Bets Off. You know, I made most of that money with him. He's brought me amazing places everywhere around the country, Canada. You know, he's been amazing in my career. That horse means, a lot to me. So definitely All Bets Off.
Any more questions from the audience here? Now, Ronnie was just standing here. I didn't get to see him. But, Aaron, talk a little bit about kind of what, and I don't even know if I would call it a rivalry, but what that rivalry is like at Northfield. Obviously, you guys are the top two guys out there currently. What's that rivalry like, and do you guys like to kid each other at all?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a rivalry, whatever. But I'm rivals with everybody. You know, you're rivals with 8 or 9 other guys on the track, but you got a guy that is good, really good, and he's tough. I mean, it's kind of. You want to beat him. You know what I mean? Like, we always say, you just ain't got it tonight. He always tells me, like, if he beats me a couple times in a row and like a horse should win, he's like, you just don't have it tonight. You know, and so, there's a lot of needling, which makes it good. You know what I mean? I really liked it, and like I said, we race with a lot of good drivers every day, so I want to beat everybody. I don't really care if it's my mom, my dad, my sister, my kids. It doesn't matter. I want to beat everybody.
At least he's honest, ladies and gentlemen. Any final questions? Final questions?
This is for the Big Red Machine. Anytime you go into a race, do you feel like you're going to win them all?
No, it was kind of a quote. They asked me what race did I feel, or was I not happy about losing the most, and I said any race I thought I should have won. So that's every race. But I know Josh loves this. I can't believe he even woke up for this, but congratulations.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's give a round of applause. Aaron Merriman, Montrell Teague, and Matt Kakaley. Make sure you stop up, say hello to these guys. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8, 9, and 10. Handicapping seminar at 8 o'clock. And a different seminar at 9 and 10.